This is your daily market recap for Thursday, August 4th, 2022. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Thursday, August 4th, 2022. Hopefully you're having a good day. Again, stop by the Discord room if you have any questions about this video. Link is in the description below. Be reminded, this is a channel for traders who are usually missing one or two things, doing things that, the average person does to lose money, not really familiar with the rules of the game. Again, not much for beginners, but more for people who just have reoccurring, symptoms of bigger issues that are more usually mental than the market being a problem. But again, there's a lot to learn. Do this long enough, you realize you're always a student of the game. The market is always teaching you something about yourself. People tend to forget that. Again, stop by the Discord room. Link is in the description below, and let's get into it. Bitcoin is looking more like an M. Talked about this. It's like you need to get away and get higher over 24,000. You need to get over 25, 26. It's not happening. I'm not. Again, it's one of those things where I don't trust any asset at this point. It's a bear market. Now, is Bitcoin a long-term sustainable digital currency? Well, if it is, it's gonna have the same problems that everything else is during a bear market. Liquidity gets pulled. I always tell this to people. In a bear market, everything gets sold. Liquidity. We'll talk about gold. I got people in the Discord room newer to gold going, "Oh, I think it's about to break out and going higher." It's like, man, that mentality has killed more people in the metals market than anything. Again, you need to wait for the actual pivot in the interest rates to actually see gold rip. We talked about it being bouncing, but sustaining, no. All right, oil. Here's a tough one. Again, we played the bounce, tried to play for another bounce, didn't, failed, stopped out. That's what stops do, folks. You play the evidence of a bounce until it didn't, right? And now what? I've said this, I don't know, quarter thousand times. No, said somewhere between 75 and 65, maybe even 60. Now, in a recession, that's what happens. Now, keep in mind, like all the average folks who follow CNBC months ago were going, you got to buy oil. And we talked about you better take your profits. And now you're down here. And, on short-term stuff, hey, being wrong happens. That's why you set your stops, your limits. Like I always tell people, like if you are buying oil down here, this is what actually makes it great about the trade is what? It's very binary. Once it breaks, it's gone. We tried to look for the AM. Look at that. Close at the low. Nope. Not interested. This is what it is. Stops them again. You win 9 out of 10. You lose 1, but you try to minimize those losses. That's all you got to do. It's literally all you have to do. Alrighty then. TLT. Talked about it. Getting up here in this 120 range. High and tight's good. Nice pullback yesterday. Literally bought it down here. Holding pretty good. At this point, again, if oil drops, market starts to get dicey. Rates will probably, come down near term, and then what? Who the hell knows? That's all I can say. The fall is going to be scary. I'm telling people that for weeks. They're just like, oh, as soon as this is getting easy, oh, it's going to be easy. It's like, no, it ain't. Oh, no. Do you think the bull market is just starting? Got a cat hair floating around in my mouth. No. No. This market is a trader's market. I've warned you guys and gals 1,000 times. You have to trade it, okay? There's no long-term investing here. Dollar talked about pulling back to this blue zone. Said it'd probably retest. We talk about the retest, like concepts of retesting happen a lot. It'll probably paint like this head and shoulders pattern. Probably watch. It'll paint a head and shoulders pattern. Let's just drag this out. This will be the shoulder line, right? A couple weeks from now, people are like, oh, the dollar's about to crash, and then it's going to go absolutely bonkers. That would be my guess. Come on, can I not drag? There you go. So how long does that take? I don't know. Say this every video. The end of the dollar is not a smash. It's a rip-roaring, absolute mother of all rallies that fails. That's how bull markets and anything end, folks. VIX, what did we say? People are like getting pretty bearish the other day. We always talk about, all right, the first 3 days and the last 3 days of the month, they mean something. Well, today was the last of the first 3 days of the month. And now what? We're right back at the lows. We talked about that. So here you go. Here's your April bounce. Your bounce and then retest. Here was your like January, and then here's your, I guess that was a little later January, but you had a back test. You even had a back test there. Here is what I was talking about. Some sort of end of October. Look at this. 1st of November. That's my guess. Evidence. I mean, it's funny to people because I'm like, they're like, what do you think? And it's like, well, what do I think? Let me go check the charts. You know, let me try to give you the best repeating pattern scenarios that I've seen over the last 20 years, and let's play the probabilities. Oh, but you're wrong sometimes. It's like, yep, you're only as good as your last trade. I get it. But some of y'all are just, you wouldn't even know what's wrong from right. That's hilarious. Is like people are just doing some crazy stuff. I mean, I'm seeing Twitter getting really bullish the market right now, which perfect. That's what we need. New highs off the lows, get bullish. Bring in every person. So get the VIX nice and low. Get those puts cheap, boys and girls. Very cheap. SPY talked about this. Where's the high? I don't know. We'd let it play out. Novice gap. Now we have a doji. Again, the volumes are not great. But we've said somewhere in this once you got over the 20, somewhere between 421, maybe the 415 level. I mean, what was the high day? 415? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's look at the 10-minute real quick. A lot of choppiness. This is interesting because you definitely had distribution here yesterday. Now you had some like indecision, chop. Need more information. Dojis need more information. That's all you. That's what you need to know. Like it potentially could be a top, but you prefer it to be on a little higher volume. But keep in mind, you had this little guy had no volume. This little guy led to sideways and no volume. Keep in mind, bear market rallies. The rallies aren't on volume. They're light volume. Tight action. Yeah, light volume. Again, the volume is probably going to lock at the lows. Keep that in mind. Like people are what? Getting squeezed up, but it's think of it as like the higher we go, less oxygen for these rallies to continue. So if you know that in the back of your mind, what are you thinking here? Well, I'm not surprised if the volume dies up here. When it turns over, it'll probably be what? Some sort of gap, and then the volume will expand. Turnover, volume expand. Turnover, pop, and the volume will expand. Volume starting to expand, one top, and then boom, turnover, volume expand. Anyway, patience. QQQ, because this is where I think the big money's in shorting. Look at this, folks. Remember this, we didn't get the highs, and then we got this retest, and it was like, bam. I've said this, and I'm going to say it again. Everybody knows this channel's here, okay? Everybody knows this fib is up here, right? Everybody sees this. Do not be surprised if what? If we go a little higher to convince the bulls, we really got to go higher. Because again, that's the key here. Is we need to get folks to do what? We need to get folks to really like feel like they're gonna hold forever, right? This is a bull market starting. That's what the market makers need to convince people of, right? Then ARK and Tesla and all of the fun games of the past can all start again. It's not gonna happen. Anyway, just keep in mind, like look at this area around 320s. I mean, I think I got up to 325 today. 324.70, not bad. What's the bigger play? Look for the shorts. Tech is the easiest short right now. People are looking at oil. I get it. It's leading down. I think tech becomes the easiest short here shortly. It's easiest short here shortly. Yeah. Anyway, keep that. Just know this area. IWM. What do we say? It leads, right? Tends to lead, right? Tends to lead. Said it tends to lead. We are up into what? Zones of problem, like interaction. Now what? As the QQQ is making new highs, look at the action. It's really compressing, really getting tight, really getting like there's not a lot of buyers. That's what I mean by that. So, long story short, maybe get to 190. I mean, that's always possible. I mean, you have to remember, today people are like, what's the best place to short? Near the highs. Oh, but how high can it go? Well, you know what? In an irrational market, what do we know? The market's not going to act rational. We don't know the exact spot. I love when people go, tell me where to get in. Tell you where to get in. Well, if I told you that, you probably still wouldn't do it because if it went a cent higher, you'd be like, you were wrong. Oh, short the NASDAQ at 324.70. Huh? The IWM, 190.03. No, it doesn't work like that, y'all. You layer in, you layer out. If you're starting to short here, I respect the idea. I bless it. I'm personally starting to layer in. I did like 50% of my shorts today. Did I get the highest prices? No. I just got where I felt comfortable, and I didn't really see anything bother me today. Jobs tomorrow, jobs numbers in the morning, and then we'll see. I mean, it's usually a doji day, so maybe if it's a blowout to the top, it closes low, it'll look like a what? Outside reversal. Like, imagine tomorrow, this is, here, I'll paint it for y'all. If you don't watch the video and you bring this up in the chat room, I'll laugh. Big doji, what if you got up to 420, long wick, and closed back under 413? That would be somehow a perfect storm. Gold, I'm so happy for the people who bought this stuff and who really think they're going to make a ton of money, which they got rewarded. And you get light volume bounces, and you know what? Nothing goes down in a straight line. We always talk about opportunity costs. Like you could either buy gold or you could buy the stuff that move 20, 30%. You know, hey, it's finally catching up. Cool. We told you guys to get out here at the old 2011 high retest. Now it's down here. We said what? I mean, we literally said 1680 overnight low is probably going to hold. Again, if you look at my monthly charts, not surprised. We said watch the 158. It's the 0.382. It's a lot going on here. Do we expect one touch? That's the problem. I think the average gold person is like, V bottom. Oh, you got to buy it now. Hey, man, you got to buy it. You know, that whatever Texas voice from that Fox show. He's talking like, hey, guys, it's time to buy the bottom. Yeah, it's that easy. No. Gold loves to retest. I've said this. I mean, I literally do it every video. Double bottom, double bottom, double bottom. You see what I'm saying? It's the double bottom king. And now if it doesn't double bottom this time, you never hear the end of it, which that's fine. I don't care. Because you know what? If it's not going to go higher and break out, it's just going to be gold purgatory. There's other trades. People never realize that. It is what it is. Let's look at the historic volatility. Yeah, pretty low. Not surprised. Could it pop a little higher? Maybe. Anyway, it's just one of those things at this point where I try to explain to people, like, you either know or you don't, right? Where's the bar? Where's the volume? That's not in there. And at this point, if you think gold's going a lot higher, I wish you luck. Because if you stay in this trade, I think you're going to miss some other stuff. But, hey, it is what it is. You learn. I mean, all these words don't mean anything until you experience it. You trade gold long enough, you realize, like, it doesn't go up in a bear market. Neither does silver. You want to see last bear market? You want to see? 2007. It didn't bottom until, 2008, as we said. The first VIX basically spike. Fed started to do what? They pivoted, then it went higher. The Feds aren't doing that. Because look what silver did. It went from 20 down to, 8. That's not safety, folks. That is not safety in a bear market. Again, it'll bottom first in a bear market. We've talked about that. So will gold, because usually what causes it, the Fed pivots. Fed goes, we're going QE forever. QE. Yeah, you're not there yet. Literally, the Fed just hit a 75 basis point hike, and they keep saying all this week, we have to keep going. So, not surprised. Look at their little circle here of bounciness. We said it would, and it bounced. People who don't know gold, silver, you're talking to a guy who's been trading it for 20 years and lost tons of money, made money in it, been trading it forever. Like, it's so hard, and I'm just warning you, you're in purgatory. What do you think you should see with gold? Miners. Miners should lead the commodity. If the commodity's leading the actual miners, metals, whatever, drillers, whatever the sector is, not a good sign. This is not good. That doesn't look good to me. It looks like trash. Looks like purgatory. GDXJ acting a little better. And we talked about that was the one to buy. Said what? 34s? You're getting up there. It's an opportunity cost, and I just don't think there's much upside. But people will find out the hard way. It's all probabilities. Again, you want to see when the best time to buy miners is? Let's pull it out the chart. All right, crash, COVID, unlimited liquidity. Oh, look at that. Fall of 2008. Then we went ripping higher. Everyone since then has just been in purgatory. You think it can go higher? You think wrong. Probably. Yep. I mean, you need the Feds to unwind. all of this supposed tightening they're going to do. And we all know they're not going to do it. It's just, you got to get them to, like, say it. Just admit it. AG, cool. I'm glad it bounced. This thing has been just dogging hard. Look at that. It's going higher. Sure. I mean, I've said this 1,000 times. 9 would be probably where it needs to go. But if it doesn't get there, I don't know. AEM, put this on your radar because this is acting much better. Had volume at the lows. See, we talk about volume. That's volume. Now it bounces. Perfect. Newmont. Said this a bazillion times. I mean, every video. Look how close it is to the monthly channel. We're going to get there. You're going to get there. PAAS. Just leave it alone. Like, PAAS on Newmont, and here's PAAS. What do we say? Get up in the 20s. Well, there you are. Nice little wick today. Closes at the 50-day. Oh, it's going higher. No. I'm telling you, folks. I mean, I don't know who wired you to believe that gold is somehow like some great hedge. I guess it's just as good a hedge as Bitcoin is during a bear market. Ooh, that may have hurt some people's feelings. No, the reality is gold actually held up better. But it doesn't mean it's going to go higher. Again, we talked about they throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, everything gets flushed. Liquidity is pulled out. Everything has to be sold. Margin calls. Capital has to be raised. Doesn't matter if it's a winner or a loser. They're selling everything. I hope you listen to this because that tells you what. You better be careful. Letter X, talked about, it's probably peaking up here. Bounced. Made a lower high. I don't like that setup. If I was a bull, I'd be super nervous because, again, could it get over and, like, wick, pop, flop? Sure. But this action, this, again, novice gap, right? Lower highs. You got to get back over the 23s fast or that is dangerous. Nucor, talked about, I mean, it looks very similar. Said maybe you can get up to 138. If it doesn't, dangerous. You got to get out of there. CCJ, every day, uranium, folks. We're going to get paid. I'm like, gap and chop. Why isn't it rising? Because, again, when do you buy uranium? Very similar to silver and gold. You buy it during what? Capitulation blowouts. That's just how it runs, folks. Here you go. 2008. Smash. Ever since then, just purgatory. Chopping sideways. But the fundamentals. Well, if you think fundamentals matter, then you don't really understand the market because it doesn't really work on that. Because markets move higher irrationally, move lower. Just like, think about what a bear market means. Think about in 2008, GDP went negative 5-6%. The market crashed 60-70%. Is that rational? No. I mean, the economy contracted by 6%. And you're talking about a 60-70% correction in the market? Yeah. Okay. So here again, rational? No. If the market throws baby out with the bathwater, CCJ, your favorite uranium name, it ain't safe, folks. I'm just going to warn you again. And all these pumpers, I mean, thousands. Guys with 50,000 pumpers that are just beating the drum of going higher, going higher, going higher, going higher. And then does what? Does exactly the opposite what they say. So maybe you need to stop following the drum beaters. Yeah, I don't know. You want to get around in the bongo line and beat the bongos? Because that's what those folks do. They just lull you into a cult of what I would describe as your own personal destruction. Because you surround yourself with like-minded people who are doing the wrong thing. That might be one of the most dangerous things you can do in your life is surround yourself with very like-minded people who are all losers. It's hard to say because sometimes you might be the loser. I was the loser. It happens. But you wake up and you go, what the fuck? You're like, oh, man, I'm hanging out with all these losers? Well, that's basically investing club, stock tits, Twitter, 90% of the stuff. It's all a bunch of crap. That's why 90% of traders fail. I mean, it is what it is. Arrow. I didn't even say anything on VALE. I don't think there's anything to say. I said I'd like it down here in the 11s. At the Scott Bottoms W's. Really. Arrow talked about this getting up. Would it get to 10? Said, watch out. Backed off right back near the lows. Mosaic. Great earnings. Great earnings. Flop. Pop. Flop. Chop. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a market for continuation. Keep warning people. CF. Trying to this one looks better to me because we talked about the bottom here with volume. Right? See that? Stopping power. Chop bottom. I mean, gold doesn't ever retest bottoms. Neither do stocks, Dan. Those stocks don't retest the bottom. Where you been, man? Everything's a V. It's like, Jesus Christ. Head and shoulders top. Now up here, what? 3-day head and shoulders top. Potentially, if you look at the 10-minute, I can already see it. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Keep an eye on it. Ooh, I don't know. That's a interesting candle. Hank will have to come back and look at that one. I don't know. Again, I'm not trading it personally. One of the things I want to see in the market is weakness abound everywhere. Because guess what? That's how the market starts. Dropping. You get it? AMD. Woohoo! Awesome. Awesome pop, right? Everybody's excited about it, right? Well, what did we say? You can start shorting the semiconductors today, but what is this move? What is this move? Are we in a bull market? Are you starting to believe that? Do you really think AMD is going back in the bull market? From the same folks who told you to short it up against the channel high, the head and shoulders, told you short up here, short, riding the short train. Now this is going higher. No, we said get into the blue zone. Now if you short it and you're wrong, that happens. I mean, we talk about picking tops and bottoms. This ain't easy, folks. This is not easy. So now what? What do we do? Watch. Keep in mind, what has AMD done? I'm literally going to break it down for you because this is what you look for. You look at this big green candle. You go, what happened else near the top? Oh, shit. Big green candle. Big green candle, chop. Will pop and flop. Big green candle. One more day, flop. Big green candle, chop. Big green candle, flop. All right, it has a repeating tendency. Big green candle. Let's review this in 3 days, 2 days, whatever. Let's put it. Again, I'm going to be pretty arrogant and just put the arrow right over the top of it. Like, hey, don't miss that. Don't miss a beat on that because that's probably going to be the top, right? Oh, man. People are like, you're crazy. You're crazy, Dan. Crazy, Hank. What you doing? All right. Enough with everyone loves the voices. I can do more of them, but I think that one's kind of boring. SMH. What now? Well, again, we said the easy money, take the profit. Don't be surprised if it goes higher. Now, again, this is one of those trades that had the retail public behind it. Talked about it. Congratulations if you took the big fat chunk in the middle and now you're looking to short. Said today I started. Look at the volume today. Little knob. I mean, look, gap, little gap, another little gap. It's getting a little tired. Think of this as the rubber band man theory. Tired. Getting really, really tired and sloppy and choppy. That was an interesting candle. The close yesterday. Anomaly. Now what? Higher? Okay. Yeah. This is what's hard. We've been extremely patient. If I told you 7 green days in a row is the time to, wait. 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row up. That feels how a bear market top would rally like, right? Strong action, fail. Strong action, fail. Strong action, fail. Strong action, not going to fail. Okay, well, I'm putting my money out there. I think I'm laying my bets out correctly. If I'm wrong, it happens. Whatever. IBM said this one's been acting really good during a bear market. Not surprised it's stalling out, though. Look at this since November. Way higher versus other stocks. At this point, it's tough to know. You got to know where your entry is, where your stop, and what's your upside, because it might take time. And again, I'd like to see it rally during the bear market. I didn't really study it that hard. So Meta talked about popping. They're doing a $10 billion offering, raising capital. Good for them. Just what they need is more debt. Grow their earnings a little less and throw on some more debt. Borrow money. Buy back stock. Super awesome thesis. Apple, you guys too. Smart. Real smart. Now we talked about it, holding 155. I mean, that was a great trade. You had multiple days, and then little professional gap, little higher high, coming into the 50-day. This one's tough because, again, you could make the argument it could go back to the channel high. Then you look at the market and you're like, man, this thing is lagged. So if you're trading it, again, raise your stops. Apple, well, hey, Dan, remember all that shorting? We were talking about the market going to crash. The market's going to crash. It was like, look at Apple, folks. Wrong. Now look, okay, big green and a doji. That is getting literally up against our range. No, remember high volume, highs, lows. Look at this. Now what? Volume's dying. You got Doji, big green. But look at the green size on low volume. I mean, they're dying. I mean, these candles are so dead. Long story short, now what? I think you can start shorting here. Long story shorting story. Long story to short? Wait, huh? I don't know. That's my thinking right there. I think you got the zone. Now could it get higher? Yeah. It's an irrational market. That's what it does. It's like XOP. I mean, it went absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. But is this going to be an XOP? I don't think so. Apple is stretched pretty good. I mean, look at that since, end of mid-June. Just straight rocket ship. It's due for a pullback. We'll see how deep these are. I mean, we're betting on them. I'm betting on them. Starting to layer it in. Layer on that ice cream. What's next? Roblox. Here's another one. We talked about it would go higher if the market was holding up. Things you don't see when the market's acting okay. Said it could get up to 50. It's getting a little tight. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I mean, if it was going to happen, it's probably going to happen tomorrow. If you're long the stock, congratulations. We've made money on it. Bulls have made money on it. It hasn't been bearish. We said this since May. Look at this thing. Talked about that was the bottom. High volume, bottom. Concise action. Ripped, chop, vunk. Been going. Gone. Tesla. Now this is where it gets real fun because now Tesla bulls by far are some of the biggest targets of losses in the market ever. I think this is going to 5,000 or 1,200 or 12,000, whatever. It depends on what they're smoking for the day. Smoking that OG Kush or lemonade, I don't know. White Owl, whatever, White Rhino, Spearmint. It's all different flavors of, you got to be high to think this is going up forever, but that's it. That's fine. Now what? We talked about these 930s. You had a double top. If you got into shorting Tesla today, golf clap. I like it. Did not get up there. It wasn't around when I had a chance to mess with it. Great trade. I think it's starting. Tesla Q. Good. I mean, I think a lot of people were going to watch this going, are you bearish? If you have to ask that question, then it's kind of like, well, I don't think you've been anticipating the setups like we have. Again, we didn't get bearish literally till today, or at least I haven't. Because why? Let's look at oil here in a second, because that to me doesn't look like bullish tendencies if oil's going to start smoking down. Could be wrong though. The EXPI, here's your fundamentals, right? Everyone loves fundamentals. Hey, this is a great company. They're doing good. They're doing real good. What is going on? That doesn't look like it's real good. No, it doesn't. But holding 15, cool. UTHR, here we go. XBI, we said watch XBI today. Looks like it's blowing out. Look at this candle. I mean, if you did not sell any shares up in the 240s and you've been warned for months, shame on you. Because this chart, I'm going to remove it at some point. Let's pull up XBI real quick because it said you need to watch this one. This is a total retail indicator of potential blowout. Oh, yeah. Nice 3-1-2 gap. Just total exhaustion up move. Higher volume squeezing. There was some pharma takeover today. Not surprised. Look at that. That's right. That's right. Keep an eye on it. Could you get the 200 day? I don't know. Let's look at the close. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, interesting. Tight action. Open wide and loose. Tough to pick the bottom here or top because this could be the head of a big head and shoulders. Like this could turn into the head complex, and then the right shoulder would be in the low 80s. Keep an eye on it because again, why do you need to watch the leaders of the market, Dan? Let's go look at Beyond Meat because that's no. You need to look at the sectors, and if this sector is doing good, it's hard for the market to just completely collapse. But is this exhaustive? I don't know. Remember how we talked about? I mean, you literally can see the opposite pattern. 3 gap drop, bottom. 3 gap. Sorry, not 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. There you go. That's all. I'm just trying to show you repeating patterns, but everyone likes to argue because this is honestly why I'm bearish. I'm like, wow, oil broke. We were wrong. Thought we'd hold. Popped out immediately. Oil is watching low end of the range. It can always go a little lower. Today, gap down. I was like, maybe it's going to be like one of these little gap and traps. Turn around. Nope, was not. Pull up XOP. Had some levels. Had a hold. You can see exactly where it was. How do we hold had to hold this level right here, like 129. It's like it has to hold. Got real choppy and then failed, gone. Came back, real. Look at that. It's not bullish, folks. But it could be. I mean, near term. You just never know with the market. That, to me, it looks like a, head and shoulders complex. There's your right shoulder. Oil and gas are going lower. Someone knows something. Let's end it on ExxonMobil because this was another one that should have held. 91, 90 area. I mean, you got massive support on this at this area. Or was it right here? Yep. Now what? Boom, gap and dropped. All right, we'll see. These are things that you don't see if oil, like the market was look, market was just rising higher. Everything was getting pulled with it. Notice now you're getting some weakness. You're seeing it in XOP. You're seeing it in oil. I mean, XLE. Here you go. The UNG was a nice trade. Hopefully you took your profits because, again, I mean, I'd like to see it get into the 30s to short it confidently, but you don't know. You just don't know. Again, if you try to play this game through certainty goggles, you certainly will get trashed. That's just how it works. Let me throw a few other names because I just pulled this up as I got home. Snap, like Starbucks. Yeah, this okay. There's some. I've heard rumors of things that are moving, that are looking very what I would call like topish, blow offish. Like AMC pulled some crap today where they're gonna do a preferred stock or something, and it's like decent doji, and then you look after hours, it was like, ugh, of course, this is where it goes on the news. Keep in mind, there's a lot of little factors, because what have we said before I end it? You need to convince everybody who's been bearish to go bullish, and then conviction to hold, because they need to short the lows and lost. Now they need to buy the highs and hold. Do you see how that works? That's how it works every time. If you're not familiar with this, again, watch the Back to Basic videos. Tons of them about the psychology. Read the Livermore books. Read the VPA books. Like, it's all recurring patterns. Hope this helps. Have a great night. Talk to you later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.